What was the incident at your school? Our business club was so enterprising they started counterfeiting money, resulting in the Secret Service showing up. This is fucking hilarious. In class, someone asks me, "Did you hear about the bombs going off in school today?" No, moron. There aren't bombs going off in our school. As I say this, over the intercom we hear, "Please evacuate the school immediately and avoid all trash cans during your exit." Some seniors had put dry ice bombs in the big metal trash cans. We come out to police, fire trucks and bomb squads pulling up. One bomb goes off and the trash can shoots 20 feet in air. No one was injured. The seniors didn't get to participate in graduation. The seniors didn't get to participate in graduation. Seems like a fair trade. Kid kept crapping in his hand and writing messages on the bathroom wall with it. You'd be in class and hear the North Corridor bathroom on the second floor is now off limits and you knew. Edit. Yes. Your school had one too. Yes, you gave him a nickname. Yes, it may be a sign of abuse. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Either the time a cop shot a man with a gun as a bunch of students watched, or the time some moron spray painted "There is a bomb in the gym" on the outside wall. Bomb threat jokes were all the rage. The time some moron spray painted "There is a bomb in the gym" on the outside wall. Bomb threat jokes were all the rage. Did you have to call the bomb squad? My freshman year of high school, 3 deer broke a window and ran around inside the school until a teacher chased them out. That teacher a legend. We had a chicken pen at our school. Big fence around it, many chickens. We come to school one morning, and all the chickens have been beheaded, as well as a couple birds which have been stoned to death. In grade 8 my buddy Vinny brought a pregnant rat to school and it spawned a bunch of rat babies in his locker. There were rats everywhere that year. Fucking Vinny. New head of our elementary school turned out to be a convicted child molester. Deleted. Easter egg hunt. In 1998. I think 5 people were injured. One had to be taken by helicopter to the hospital. I was never really sure of the specifics, but apparently some of the parents were trying to cheat and find eggs for their kids, instead of letting the kids do it themselves. This led to arguments and things got out of hand. Fortunately, no one died, and the school didn't ban Easter egg hunts. It just banned parents from it. The Great Easter Egg Hunt of '98. The mentally disabled kid went into an absolute rampage in lesson over someone sitting in his seat, and the teacher had to get everyone out of the room and lock him in there whilst support staff were called to come get him. Unfortunately, it was a science lesson and he had lots of expensive stuff to throw around whilst he was in there. Thousands of pounds worth of damage. I had a similar thing happen to me. I was stuck in a sped class for my 9th grade year and we had this dude go into a full rage. He sucker punches me in the face and decided to break a window. Our SRO had to be called to get him. SRO is a school resource officer. Someone was making a meth lab in their locker. Read this as math lab and thought you must have a really lame school for that to be the incident. 2 guys were smoking pot in a bathroom and somehow managed to set a toilet on fire. 2 guys were smoking pot in a bathroom and they got caught. Meh. Pretty lame story. Somehow managed to set a toilet on fire. What the fuck? A girl got pregnant on the 8th grade trip to DC. Was your school from Long Island? We had some older chap from town crawl into the ductwork and peer through the vents into the girls' locker room. That's insane. Why did you guys have him do that? One of the math teachers was stealing those TI-83/84 calculators and selling them on eBay. In his defense, teachers don't get paid enough to have morals. Someone set Mickey Mouse's tail on fire at Disneyland during a senior trip back in the 80s and got the school banned for like 20 years. My senior was the first time we were able to go back for grad night. Deleted. Kid that sat behind me in math class brought a gun to school. Didn't shoot anybody. Not really sure if he intended to, but got caught after bragging about it. We had 3 bomb threats my freshman year. First one was some angsty shit. And the last 2 were just because we got out of class all day with the first. Specifically, that first one was legendary. The school had no plans or preparation for this event. So we all milled around the athletic field for 6 fucking hours. Edit. School was in southern Maine. Sexting ring of 120 girls' pictures being passed around all the guys at school. Happened twice. 0 arrests as it was a rich private school and parents got involved. Also the teacher making people answer weird questions their classmates asked. All the time a kid showed up in such a drugged up state that he passed out in class. Had to be rushed to the hospital. Was on an IV drip for a while and tested positive for 7 out of the 8 substances tested for. Didn't get suspended or kicked out. He was allowed to take his exams early and finish up about a month before everyone else. Being rich sounds pretty neat. We had a mock car crash, where the local fire department and other emergency services simulated what happened at a car crash to drive home the point of driving sober etc after prom and whatnot. We had the whole school watching. Over 1,000 kids. One of the kids in my grade, early in the morning, took a shit in a bag and smeared it all over the windshield of the car. Later that day when they unveiled the car from under a tarp, the shit was everywhere and the whole crowd broke out into laughter. Isn't that the every 15 minutes thing? There were a few. But I think the worst one was when the senior class prank, vandalism, was to put weed grass killer on the football field to create a giant dong. It could be seen on Google Earth for years. Edit. It wasn't the class I was in. Just that it was a senior class. That's actually hilarious. Deleted. A teacher got a student pregnant. He only had to change schools though because she was 16 already. Some students mixed the wrong chemicals in chemistry and the whole building couldn't be entered for a week. The catch-22 hate crime. Kid 1 got the shit beat out of him in a fight that he picked. His rich parents sued the other kid in the school citing that it was a hate crime because Kid 1 was gay. Well, it all came out that mom and stepdad were suing mostly because the alimony settlement from mom's first marriage was drying up. We're talking at least 5 mil. They figured going the hate crime route just about guaranteed a big payout from the school district. It also came out that Kid 1's father was a multimillionaire and an extreme homophobe. So, Kid either had to admit to being gay and be disowned by his millionaire father, no chance at the inheritance, or throw his mother under the bus and proclaim his heterosexuality. My junior year of high school was like a damn reality TV show. What happened? This blonde girl had 2 guys crushing on her. She played them off against each other for all they were worth, reveling in the attention. They really disliked each other so she encouraged them to fight, shirtless at her suggestion. One guy ended up badly beating the other. He broke his nose, fractured his cheekbone and cracked a rib. The guy on the ground was yelling for help. People had to pull him away from the guy before he killed him. I too want to be beaten to death. Senior prank 2009. Someone put some fish fillies up in the ceiling of the administration building. Except they did it before Christmas break instead of summer so it would rot for a week and then all the school staff would smell it when they got back. It took them months to figure it out since no one came forward to claim their deed. All the while about a third of the entire school student body has been suffering and breathing this dead fish aroma since the administration building is half offices, half arts department and classrooms. It was terrible and the stench still haunts me. Senior pranks aren't even a thing at our school, Mayo. We did something similar. We took a water bottle and filled it with a bunch of food from lunch and milk. This thing was hidden in the library for months and every day one of us would go and get the bottle and let gas out of it so it wouldn't explode. It was the worst smelling thing ever. We threw it into the ceiling and it exploded 2 weeks later. My junior year of high school. Some girl got in a fight with another girl over a boy. They fought in the cafeteria and their friends joined and it quickly turned into a riot. Police came. One of the girls got tasered and parents were called. The kicker is all of the parents then went across the street to the gas station and started fighting before being arrested. Gee, I wonder where the kids learned their conflict resolution skills. High school teacher started to become obsessed with one of my friends. He started calling her at all hours of the night. Completely drunk. Asking her to come over, etc. Eventually she had to call the police. Fast forward a couple days later. 3-4 police officers roll up on this teacher during one of his classes and arrest him in front of everyone. He was never seen again. A disabled kid named Jonathan attacked one of our lunch ladies with a spork because the cafeteria was out of pizza. Edit. Obligatory thanks for the gold. Stranger. The super popular elementary school science teacher getting arrested for child pornography. Everyone loved him, and also I'm pretty sure his daughter was going to that school at the time. Very unpopular guy tells very popular girl he wanted to be her vibrator. Stayed very unpopular after that. Yeah, I can't see that doing him any favors in the popularity department. Someone wrote on a bathroom wall, "School go boom on date." They evacuated the school. Had the police show up. Searched everywhere for booms, didn't find shit and nothing blew up. Edited few fucking memo lords. Bro. I have a really similar story. At my middle school someone wrote "It's bomb o'clock" on a stall door and I essentially got a free excuse to play on my phone for half the day. Dude fucked a goat his senior year. His catchphrase all through HS was, "I'm such a redneck. I'd fuck a goat." Well. He proved it. But was the goat also his sister? A kid got stabbed in the toilet and then a few days later the stabber got asted in our maths class. Gnarly shit. The guy who got stabbed in the toilet probably thought that same thing. History teacher shagged a sixth former on one of the classroom tables. We all knew which room. But not which table. Here's a hint, it was all of them. Deleted. It's called hentai. And it's art. There were so many incidents in my school that it became commonplace. Kid crashed a Lambo into the entrance. Science lab burned down. Ceiling collapsed and many more. Deleted. I'm a teacher and currently trying to break down a rubber ducky black market ring. I teach high school. I have high schoolers about to graduate and go into college. The same students are buying, selling, and trading rubber ducks. Is this a euphemism or are people really that concerned about rubber ducks? A guy had his penis out in the track team photo in the yearbook. It's debatable. But apparently true. It's a grainy B&W photo. Ironically. That guy just retired as a career officer in the Navy. He was apparently very well respected. His secret was to assert dominance. Race riots in the early zeros between Native Americans and Latinos. Fights broke out all over the school. Students throwing soda bottles and food from the top of the quad to students down below, about a 30 featuring drop. Students had to be taken to the hospital with injuries. Newsworthy. Our robotics coach, FRC, is currently under investigation for embezzling over $30,000. Update, verdict is in. Complicit but not guilty. It was another exec. Our PTA liaison. Coach just signed the paperwork and ignored the problem. Final number is $40,000. But some of that is from PTSA, not solely robotics. Still not sharing team number though. Funny. Someone got a dildo from their secret Santa, both were dudes. This was a party. During lunch. At school. With the whole class in attendance. No adult supervision. Long story short. It turned into a free-for-all game of dodgeball until it got stuck behind a TV mounted on one of the walls. And there it sat. For 2 years. Until a teacher found it. During an open house for incoming freshmen. Someone was writing messages on the walls of the boys' bathrooms and human shit. This went on for months because they were trying to figure out who had been excused from class each time this happened. But that didn't work because it turned out it was 2 people alternating shit smearing duties so the other one would have an alibi. There was a goddamn shit smearing conspiracy, WTF. One kid in my school took acid before anthropology. About halfway through class he got up. put on the bright vest teachers are supposed to wear during fire drills, and went into the hall to direct traffic. Halls were empty. I remember in like year 8 all the guys in middle school got brought together in one room to discuss the fact someone had smeared shit all over the bathroom walls. That was fun. Elementary school, whoever shit in the urinal. Apparently not uncommon. Middle school, a kid thought it was funny to knock golf balls off the tee and pay as someone went into their backswing. After successfully fucking with almost everyone in class. The kid then took a 9-iron to the orbital bone when he did it too late. High school, our football coach had sex with at least 3 members of the cheerleading squad. Although this didn't get out until after he left. So I guess that time someone hijacked the construction equipment and did donuts on the main lawn. Our assistant principal was kind of a douche. To try and humiliate him we bought a dildo and inscribed it with our school mascot and that if found please return to Mr. Douche. We then slipped it into the ice machine while in line for lunch. The cacophony was deafening when it was found. A lunchroom worker pulled it out with tongs and held it up and away from her. Almost like she was displaying it for all of us to see. A coach who was watching the lunchroom saw the writing. And upon further investigation, he busted up and turned red. Quite the time. He never caught one of us. So Mr. T from Bixby. Okay. F you. Will probably get buried. But a Spanish teacher at my high school videotaped students when they did oral Spanish speaking exams and photoshopped their faces from the videos onto blow-up dolls to sell on the internet. Everyone who had him as a teacher was contacted by the FBI and told their faces were used for child pornography. That was a weird year. A girl stopped running in the middle of PE and pulled her tampon out and threw it on the ground. She also refused to pick it up and teachers had to grab it. She was already the weird girl but God did that make it worse. A student in my high school put up straight pride posters. It was a mess. The Washington Times even wrote an article on it. Edit, just Google straight pride. You'll find it. A girl was raped at the graduation prom. What the fuck? Removed. Never bring a knife to a guns fight. Guy calls black kids the N-word. People, both black and white, showed up at his house. Beat him up then destroyed his beekeeping equipment. I'm honestly glad it happened. He had it coming for a long time. Poor bees though I hope they found a new home. Edit, this is the last straw in a series of events. From what I understand. Oh you shouldn't fuck with bees. Guy had it coming but no excuse for fucking with bees. There was a fight my freshman year where a kid grabbed the one weird kid that you would think is about to shoot the school up. And put his head through the glass trophy case. 2 years later that kid got arrested for plotting to shoot up the graduation and even had an assault rifle with a list of names. My brother made the list. He's a dick. How'd you and your family react to hearing he was on the list? One of our teachers went on long-term sick. After having a mental breakdown. The last straw that supposedly pushed her over the edge was someone sneaked into the classroom during break. And took a dump right near this teacher's desk. I can respect that as a last straw. I had a teacher whose last straw was a pen fight. Like just kids. Throwing pens at lunch. Literal turd pen fight. This guy in my class took a milk carton from lunch one day and kept it in his locker for a couple weeks. Then one day he snuck it back in with the other cartons. We all were discreetly looking around trying to figure out who was going to end up getting it. All of a sudden we see a teacher spit out her milk all over this other teacher and run away gagging. It became this big issue of trying to figure out who did the milk prank and sure enough, someone ratted him out and he got suspended. That same kid was also the first person to think of ordering a laser pointer, remember those? He brought it to class and was shining it in the teacher's mouth while she was talking in front of the class. I was in tears trying so hard not to laugh. Haha. Legend. A girl in grade 10 apparently used WD-40 as lube. Ah hell nah. 2 standouts. 1. A couple of girls were messing around in the toilets one lunch hour and decided to find out how fast toilet paper burns if you flick a cigarette lighter under it. Really damn fast, it turns out. And the fire brigade had to be called. 2. A rather troubled lad with a history of emotional issues and petty crime was dumped on us because no other school in the districts wanted him. We found out why a few weeks later when he tried to break a 2x4 over a woodwork teacher's head. The time some kids snuck into the school on a Saturday. And one of them shit on the floor in the girls' bathroom. Fucking legend. Time to get swifty in here. One of the upper 6th senior boys filmed himself and his lower 6th junior girlfriend having sex. Then charged people to see it. That year of age difference? Yep. That made it child pornography rather than just perverted. Somebody took a shit in someone else's backpack. A guy got a nosebleed in app Human Geography. This would be such a big deal if his friend hadn't yelled at him, "Hey, I told not stick a pencil up your nose," as he was running out the door. Kid brought a gun. A teacher saw it and stalled until class ended. When we left, she held him in her room and asked him about it. He broke down crying and gave it to her. She called the cops and none of us were informed until after second period. The principal tried watering it down before my friend's mom, who taught, just straight up told us. We went about the day like nothing happened until cops questioned us in last period. It was interesting to see which kids liked to get attention and which didn't. Edit. There was a running bet on whether or not he would try something before senior year. I won $10. My friend yelled, "Enough is enough." Reached into his bag. And 5 people were out the door before he looked up laughing. He is the kind of person you would make a bet to try something. So many poop stories. Seriously. WTF is wrong with people who voluntarily put their hands in shit to write with it? My school had pretty riot-like food fights every year right before graduation. This, https://s-media-cache-ak0. Pinimg. Com originals D1, 86, 78 D1867824 BD61 D64 F4 EE59 CFBDB 10 F89. JPG, photo came out of one of the first ones. When I was a junior, a classmate attempted suicide because his senior girlfriend broke up with him due to her going to college out of state and knowing it wouldn't work out for them. She did it in November because she didn't really see the point of stringing it along for another few months. She got so much hate for it. I felt awful for her. Freshman year, the senior prank was streaking. Only one guy did it when there was supposed to be at least a dozen. And it was not a good look. Midway through sophomore year, we realized our US history teacher's wife had been one of his students and they had started dating when she was 20 and he was still married. Okay, you guys, what the hell is with all these shit smearing stories? 10th grade English teacher got arrested for solicitation of a minor and prostitution. Dude loathed the sound of his own voice. Just wish he got pinched before he made us do our outline on everything we learned for the entire year in a week. That week was also finals week. So instead of studying for my finals in my other 6 classes, I was typing a 40-page outline for one class. I'm from a very conservative country where sex or any sexual matter is sort of a taboo. A teacher found a nude photo of a girl in my year. No one knew about it until the photo was leaked. A lot of us suspected that he, the teacher, leaked it since he found it first. The girl was soon called into the office and she's been having a hard time in school since. I'm not saying that the teacher was the one that took or asked for the picture. But my friends and I and the majority of my year believes that he spread it. It happened after I was out of the school. But a kid went into a classroom and held them hostage at gunpoint for a few hours. No one was hurt physically. It made national news. It actually annoys me because everybody in this small place clings to it like it was so traumatic for the whole community. No. It was traumatic for people who were directly involved. Not for the whole goddamn county. There was this one guy who was attacked by this kid he had been bullying. The weapon of choice was a railroad spike. Happened at the start of a lunch period as everyone was walking into the cafeteria. Luckily there was a police officer there that day to teach a drug awareness class. He managed to stop. The guy was seriously hurt. Not as much blood as you'd think. Once a guy in music class smoked so much weed that he puked in a tuba. Does that count? Deleted. Kid shit in his hand and put it in his locker. He thought it was funny. Somebody jokingly told him to do it and he actually did it. He's the kid that will literally do anything to get a laugh even if it's fucking weird. A kid got stabbed in the stomach with scissors by another student while in the bathroom. The school had to go into lockdown and everything. Eventually, he admitted to stabbing himself. From what I heard, his mom had recently died and his girlfriend had broken up with him. So he was going through some stuff. Of course it was the one day of school that year that I was homesick because I pulled a muscle in my chest carrying my heavy bag. Deleted. Deleted. Wait, I'm so confused. Could you reword the sentence? Deleted. Deleted. Friend went to cup a fart and throw it in another friend's face. Ended up shitting in his own hand in front of the entire chem class. I have great friends. From mid-Missouri. We weren't very diverse. But the two black families in town were not related in any way and they began feuding. It led up to a very tense moment in a school when both families clashed. Deleted. A friend of mine got turned down by a girl who didn't know he existed one too many times. Got ignored by just about everyone. And had a shitty home life, so he felt justified in shooting himself. He built a gun out of parts he bought at Home Depot for $3. All those same people were super sorry about him being dead and wouldn't shut up about how awesome he was for at least a month. I couldn't even attend the funeral because so many ashats were there. Deleted. Deleted. During the homecoming class skits at the football field one afternoon in my freshman year, a brave senior streaked across the entire field. Bush blowing in the wind. 4-5 cops chasing him. Young children watching. It was magnificent and I'll never forget it. That is a fun memory. Kid at a high school realized he could email the entire district. Every kid, teacher, administrator got an email that said LOL. Then every time a kid replied to the email it sent it to the entire district over again. I had 1,000 emails in 2 days. The couple who won cutest couple senior superlative seemed really sweet and nice and most people were glad to see them win. Cut to 2 weeks later. The guy was expelled for beating up the guy who his girlfriend had been cheating on him with. And she couldn't escape the stigma for the rest of senior year. We didn't have much else aside from way too much bullying. Catholic school for ya. Deleted. Middle school. There was a game where you hold hands and spin around. You're not supposed to let go. The girl let me go. Sent me flying and I broke my wrist. The next it was announced that this game was banned. High school. A friend picked me up and I started kicking. Was dropped on my head. Ambulance was called. Had to be wheeled out on a stretcher and since it was raining I was covered with a sheet. Few days later there was a rumor I was dead. That was fun. My friend put his head through a window because some dickhead told him if he did it quick enough he wouldn't hurt himself. Eat it. Deleted. In middle school. Someone superglued their forehead to the floor. The paramedics thought they had a kid's head loosened. But when they pulled them up, a little corner of the tile broke. There's a pic in my yearbook of the missing corner of the tile. With no explanation. Edit, I found the picture in the yearbook. And boy, 18 years hasn't been great to my memory. It was a hand, not a forehead. And she was freed with chemicals just fine. And it's all very well documented. http://imgur.com gallery/5dhc0. They couldn't cut off her hand since people might trip over it. A guy was making fun of another guy's dead mom and he punched him. Punched guy died. Puncher got arrested and I don't know what happened. I guess all it took was one poo lunch. In 7th grade, a kid took the internet down for our schools and several other nearby schools. This was in college but still pretty good. Our school would have these big events in the gym where you gotta hear some important speaker talk for an hour or two. Very boring. Well, my roommate and a group of friends bought like 200 cheap alarm clocks and filled the entire gym with them all going off at random times during that hour. The speaker had to stop and the dean of students walks up to the podium. Just as he gets midway into his first sentence, the timer under the main podium goes off and he has to reach under, pull it out and then turn it off to continue. The school was furious and wanted to expel those who did it, but they were never caught. The resource officer managed to shoot himself in the leg getting out of his patrol car right beside the elementary school playground. There was also a time that a trailer carrying emus turned over on the highway near the school. Apparently there was a local emu farmer. Recess was cancelled that day because the school was worried the emus would peck someone to death. Female physical education teacher, mother of 2 daughters at the school, was sending nudes to players on the football team. They always had her hair over her face, but we were able to make a collage of her nudes on the same bed as her family pics. She was asked to step down and did. The E-block poo. So in my school there was a number of buildings sorted alphabetically. And in E-block there was a set of unisex toilets. One day someone did a poo. And it was monstrously huge. Like the type of huge where you begin to wonder how it was possible. The thing was stuck in the toilet because it wouldn't flush. It was the talk of the school for a while. There was even an E-block poo Facebook page. To this day I wonder how someone managed to squeeze that poo out. R.I.P. E-block poo. In my Catholic convent school, before prom, they made a list of who has fucked who. The list ended up in the hands of one of the teachers, and next day in the assembly hall, they called on the names of all the couples who got laid together, and apparently, almost the whole school was standing. One of our toilets got blocked by a shit the length of a grown man's forearm. It was the biggest turd any of us had ever seen in a school of 900 boys. This mammoth log was found almost poking out of the toilet bowl. And led to many rumors as to who did it. The favorite theory was the smallest, scrawniest 13-year-old kid, whose whole torso was about half the size of the fecal masterpiece. Students started dying after being hypnotized by our former principal. https://www. Google. Comamp www. PBS News. Comamp News. Parents of Northport High School student who died after hypnosis by principal speak out.